Not sure. Not sure. I think I posted, but this but chat. Figma. So we are also going to explore my tokens. Okay. It's fine. Let me share this link. Sure. So hey guys, I'm Spikey here. So it's been a very long time since I posted a video on YouTube. The hardest part about creating the content on YouTube is having the time. Finally, I got time to post after I think almost 1 year. Okay, so today you can just ask me any questions regarding design as well as Figma or Android development or anything else. So currently there is nothing much on my end. So I just recently quit my job to start my own digital design agency. Uh, Everything is going good so far. And yeah, also I'm developing a new Figma plugin. So also I'm exploring a lot of plugin stuff to automate my design process. So not sure how to reply to those comments. Seems like I'm having poor internet connection. Okay, anything fine. Okay, so I'm recently building a new Figma plugin to automate my design work. So one is a design plugin which help you to create pages. So let's say if you have a bunch of projects and you have a personal project, side projects, and your company profile or anything else, whenever you are creating a new project, you need to manually create those pages. Let's say you will have the cover image as a separate page. Let me show you a quick demo. Yeah, you see, by default you will be creating this cover and you will just add the cover image here, and also you will add mood board here, something like that. So I recently thought about this, so I thought of creating a new plugin for this. I think there is already tons of plugins are there, but still I just wanted to give it a try to make the user experience better. So what I'm planning to do is planning to create a separate plugin for that, and you need to predefine, you need to manually enter those template names. Let's say you are creating a site project, so your site project will be having those cover image page, mood board, UX research, and UI design, wireframes, and all those stuff. So for, let's say if you want to work or you for your personal working thing, you will be having different use case there, right? So I just thought of having this. So what you have to do is you need to manually enter those names for the pages and cover image, images, whatever it is. And once you press enter, it will automatically create all those things for you. So let me show you a quick demo of what I'm just talking about. Currently, you see I'm having only one page here. If I want to create a cover image, also sub pages for this Figma file, what I will do is I will just call kickoff, and you see the page has been created for me and everything is perfectly fine. You see, in just a single press, all the pages have been created for me. So now you can just do whatever sorts of work you need to do. So, but the real use case, yeah, this is what I thought about. And let's say, again, I'm just pressing kickoff. So the plugin name is kickoff. It's still in the development phase, but yeah, soon I will be releasing that. You see, now it has created me a design cover image. So for now, I didn't give any input for this, so I manually hard coded this. But yeah, so this is a creator, so I can just make it this out. I think if you go back and see, it will automatically update this thing. So yeah, this is my use case. This is the first plugin which I'm currently building, and probably will have some user interface. And hey Robert, okay, so is there any place I can start to learn UI UX design? I'm already an Android developer. Okay, since you are a developer, it's really easy to get started in UI UX design, because I also started from an Android development, and after that I started exploring the design skills, because after a certain stage I was really good at Android. After that I was really suck at design, so I don't know what the good design will look like. So I started exploring material design a lot, because we have been handling a lot of components, right? So the first better documentation is I will go for material design. Then you can just slowly start learning about other design system like Carbon design system from IBM, which is really good. So that is having their different approach about how the design systems should be. And the third thing is you can also explore the Ant, but it is famous for our website. And if you want to explore some component styling, text sizes, and all those stuff, I would suggest just explore the companies which already made their design system are open source. Let me show you something. So there is a website called evernote.design, I think. Yeah, so here you can explore that. There is bunch of design related resources out there. So if you want to explore design system, so also if you want to explore about what is the design for inspiration, you can just come here and you can just search for that. For example, let's say if you want to search for design inspiration, you can just click this tab and it will show all the websites which is really useful to for collecting the inspiration. So you can just click on this lapa.ninja. So it will take you to the new page, and here you can able to see all the web landing page designs here. So yeah, now you can click on this and it will take you to the new page and you can explore all the sections here. So this is what one resource is. If you want to have icons for your design projects, you can just click on this section and it will show you a bunch of icons. I probably advise you to just explore the material design for first now, because they have the good typography system. So you can just copy paste the system and yeah, you are pretty much good to go. So yeah, is there any other questions? I think I'm having a bad internet connection. I'm not sure. But okay, cool. Um, okay. The second plugin which I'm currently exploring right now is, let me close this one. Let me open my VS Code and so currently this is the new plugin which I'm working on. So I think this is a pretty interesting uh, area. I hope you all will enjoy this. Let me, okay, plugin is up and running. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the Figma. So here I'm having a bunch of Flutter or React Native or any other. I'm not sure what you're asking, Surya Prakash. Can you please elaborate that? So here the use cases you see, I'm having a bunch of components here. Let me quickly show you the things which you can do this with plugin. So I'm going to create let me import the plugin first. And I need to select this manifest.json file. Now you see my plugin has been imported. What I'm going to do is command slash react is running. I'm not sure why it's not working. Okay, currently it's something this thing. Not this. Also, Figma documentation is pretty clear that you can just build any plugins you want. Actually, I thought it was too hard for me at first, but after that, it was super easy. So I'm using TypeScript to build my plugin. Okay, so we have an PWA, Progressive Web App. We need to publish our app in App Store. For that, we are planning to build a native application, which is good, building in Flutter or okay. So it's really depend upon the use case, Prakash. So for me, what I would personally suggest is if it is going to take time, uh, then it's better to use Flutter. I think Flutter is much more stable than before. But yeah, if you want to explore, if you have any pre knowledge about React, like Swift and all those stuff, it's better to go that route. But I'm not sure about the use case here. If it is going to be a too complex application, then nothing can beat the native experience. So I would suggest to go with the native development rather than using other stuff. But if it is just a niche application, then I would suggest to use Flutter. It would just save you time and you can just explore a lot of animation stuff. Okay, I'm an Android dev and I want to switch my career in UI UX. So what do I should I progress on development or design? Okay, so good thing about switching your career from development to developer to designer is that it's pretty easy actually. Um, since you guys are already having a lot of knowledge about development, so design is nothing but um, there is a separate side about the user experience, but as a developer we already know like what is a good experience and what is a bad experience. So let's say if you ask a normal person to come up with the design or explaining stuff, he will just think about like all those states. But as a developer we know what should be the error state, what will be the error, and what is the state we need to show, and all those things. Also we have a pretty good knowledge about the components which we are using in our day-to-day life. So personally, I'm an Android developer. After that, I switched my career to UI UX design. Also, after my working hours, in part time, I used to do um, build Android application, open source application. That's what I'm doing. And so far, personally, I'm enjoying a lot in both Android and design. If you want to get started in design, I would just suggest just explore a lot about what should be the typography, color, theory, and all those stuffs. So a good design is mostly 80% of the typography and spacing, how you are handling the negative spacing. Also, the keeping the user in mind, you need to make sure that as a user, you need to reduce the number of steps and all this. Actually, in my company, which I started, I used to follow this simple design principle, which I keep on telling to myself. So let me share it with you guys so that you guys can. Not sure why it's. I need to log in with the Google. Mm. So I'm having a certain design principle which I used to follow whenever I'm making a new design. So let me zoom in. So okay, so these are all the 10 design principles which I used to follow whenever I design a new product. The first thing is only show what's important. So we are dealing with a lot of things around us in our day-to-day lives, right? So we don't want to get distracted. So as a user, you don't need to show unnecessary information to the user. So you know what's important. It's like let's just say if you want to show the list, you need to ask yourself what is the important data that users should know about. So that's the first thing. Second thing is kill everything but the core functionality. Okay, so less is more. So that's the number one principle to design a better product. If you add bunch of things, then the user will be distracted. So that's my approach. So you need to kill everything which makes the application heavy. I'm not talking about the code. I'm just talking about the clumsy UI. Okay, and use shapes to organize the information. Okay, so this is a pretty good thing. I will show you a quick example of how you can organize the information. Let's say I will go to Dribble to showcase this example. Okay, this is a example that you need to use shapes or icons to organize the information. Let's say if you just keep this information, you see we have this bunch of option. I need to show this option in a better way, and so that the user can quickly identify and map those potential areas. So I just thought about that, and if you can also just sort it in alphabetical order, but it won't look good, right? So people will visualize the entire thing, and they can just use this. So people don't have enough time or to read all those things. So they can simply see the icons, relevant icons, and they can just click on that icon. That will open the new folder. So you need to use shapes and icons and colors to organize the information, which is really engaging to other users. So this is one of the pretty good use case. And remove what it's not needed. It's the same point. If it is not going to make any sense, just remove that. So just enough color and contrast. Use color sparingly. So you need to use color in such a way that, so you don't want to use multiple colors. If it is a gradient, that's fine. But using the multiple colors will just kill the application essence. So it's better to use maximum 3 types. I'm not counting the background color. I'm just saying about the primary color, secondary, and tertiary color. So you just use your color and just add enough contrast. So typography is important as imagery. So it's not about the visuals you show. Also the typography, it matters. Let's say if I just want to build an application instead of dashboard, I'm just adding, hey, this is your dashboard. You see the difference between the dashboard as well as this is the dashboard. So every copy counts. So you need to be really selective about your copy, which you are just giving to the customer. Also, you need to think about the internalization, also the localization regarding this approach, so that there is a lot of ways to call the dashboard. It's your dashboard, our dashboard, my dashboard, a lot of things. But you need to make sure about the type of words which you use in your design. Okay. And is there any opportunity for UI UX in India? Oh, okay. So actually, there is a lot of opportunities are available in India. So I personally see a lot of companies used to DM me on LinkedIn for the job opportunities. You can just apply. I would suggest just go to AngelList website and search jobs there over LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is a complete mess. So AngelList, they are like a lot of promising startups. They are hiring good designers. Also for internship, it's better to apply there. So I personally suggest angellist.com. I think angellist.co. Yeah, it's angel.co, I think. Yeah, angel.co. So yeah, so this is one of the approach. And avoid cluttering up the interface with much text. So you need to be really selective about the text. So if it is going to take more than 2 lines on the main screen, so it's better to truncate the text with the 3 dots. So this is like a simple details, but if you just follow this kind of things, it will make your UI more clean and attractive. Sometimes you don't need to add any words to say this is this, something like that. You can just convey that message through the visuals alone. So yeah, one image is greater than 1,000 lines of explanation. So sometimes you need to follow this. If you're strictly following the minimalism in your designs, you can just follow this approach. Don't use any fancy hierarchy of information only unless you really have to. Okay, so the 9th point is, people nowadays don't read. So they don't read at all. So they just skim to the entire text. They just skim to the entire text paragraph to search for the words. So just ask yourself, when is the last time you guys just read the entire paragraph in the documentation or whatever it is? So we don't do that, right? So we need to be straight to the point. So the better thing is, instead of having a long lengthy paragraph, you can just convert them into a bullet list or bullet points, so that it can be really, the message will be conveyed to the user. Animation is a language in its own. Play around with it until you get what works for you. Okay. So yeah, you need to be you think about the animation, the micro interaction. So I personally like the Telegram because it's very super smooth. And also the animation, the ease in, all those things. It's really good to use that application. So you can literally fake the cognitive load with the loading animation, creative stuffs, and you can literally do anything you want with animation. So it's like faking the user experience. Sometimes, let's say if your server is down and you don't want to show the user like, okay, it's our fault, our server is down, you can literally gamify the way. I think personally, I remember Gojek just gamified their uh, error state with some sort of game. So you can literally play game with the error state in Gojek app, I think. Also, let's say the perfect example is Google Chrome. So they are having, whenever you have the no internet connection, you will play that dinosaur game, right? So yeah. HTML and CSS need for UI designer. Okay, that's a good question. It's not necessarily needed, but it's better to have that knowledge. Nowadays, it's really pretty much easy to get started over any framework like Tailwind CSS and yeah. But for me, I was a designer. I literally had a basic knowledge about HTML and CSS. I still suck at CSS till now. So yeah, it depends upon the company. Some companies will ask you about have knowledge about the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to build the prototypes. And I'm not sure, but still, it's good to have that knowledge. But your primary focus should be the UI UX thing, not to just having the multiple skills about the programming language. So that's my approach. Um, is there any other questions? I think I'm having pretty bad internet connection today. Uh, Feel free to ask any questions you want. Okay, let me navigate to my Figma so that I can just show you the curriculum. Oh, so what are the interview process for UX designer? So that's a good question, actually. Okay. Okay, the interview process for UX designer is pretty straight. So there is a lot of difference between the UX designer and UI designer. So yeah. So the first thing is you need to have a really good case studies. So that's the very first thing. Whenever you apply for a job, you need to have a case study or have some portfolio ready. So what problem you actually solve, the way of solving your problem. So there are a lot of design process are there, and I think 60 to 70% of the people they use existing design process. For me, I use my own design process. So when it comes to interview, I just instead of seeing the other design processes, I would just explain the process which I went through. So the UX designer interview process is nothing but they will call you for like just a verification first, an introduction round where you need to introduce yourself, like what's your background and where you previously worked. So it's some sort of like basic verification, so introduction. And once it is done, they will ask you for the portfolio. So yeah, so you can just they will just see the portfolio and They will review the portfolio. That's about it. And after that, they will send you the use case. They will send you the use case problem you need to solve. So you need to write a UX case study for that. And in my previous company, they used to send me an one critical problem they asked me to solve uh, in their checkout flow, I think. So yeah, they gave me like 1 week time. So some companies will give 2 weeks, and some companies maybe give 3 days. It's really depends upon the company. So I think the bigger the company or organization, they will give you like maximum 1 week of period of time. So yeah, after that, I just manually, I just after the interview, I just got my interview case study. I just sit, I just done my UX research, and I just prepared the entire case study to present in front of the stakeholders of that company. Once it is done, they will ask you for the mock interview round. So they will ask like a lot of questions to check if you are the good fit for the company, because that's I think that's needed for every company, I think. Yeah, so they literally had me around like 2 hours of interview. Once it is done, they will ask you like such questions like, so they will throw some use cases. They will give you like how fast you will react and how efficiently you can just solve this problem, and they will just try to read your mind. So as a UX designer, you need to think a lot of scenarios and edge cases, right? So in mock interview, they will ask you for the edge cases and the inspiration, because we need to be like really, we are the creators, right? So they ask you for like a lot of creative questions which you never thought of. And yeah, so once if you qualify that round, so the next round is the negotiation round. So you can just negotiate your salary and all those stuffs. So after that, they will send you an offer letter, and onboarding process will be started by that company. So yeah, so it's better to always ask questions. So interview is not about process of getting interviewed by the interviewer. Also, we can, as a candidate, we have the rights to ask a certain question. So you need to identify the red flags of the company. So if you are going to work in a startup, you need to be really aware of like what is the company and what is the real motive, the vision and mission of the company. Also, you need to understand about the founder. So if you are going to take interview, or if you're going to apply for a company, don't just blindly apply to all the companies which you're sorry saw in online. So instead of that, just select top 10 companies which you want to work. It's not always about the Google or Meta or Twitter or something like that, Apple or like that. So you can just go and apply for startup. Personally, I would suggest don't just get prepared for Meta, Google, Facebook, all those companies. You don't learn, so you will definitely get good pay. But personally, if you want to learn, if you want to be really fast, and if you want to be really in a situation like inspired by a lot of people, then I would personally suggest go for a startup. Just choose your first company as like a startup, so you can literally learn a lot. So everybody around you will be a ninja. So when I was working for my first company, I was an Android developer, and they gave me the opportunity to design their application, redesign their application. So which company gave that this kind of offers, right? So I personally learned a lot. I showed a lot of interest creating, revamping the entire application design. So yeah. So will you upload UI, UX, and Android development videos in YouTube? Yeah. So I'm just planning to do a lot of YouTube videos in the upcoming days. From maybe from tomorrow, I will be starting the YouTube videos, posting about design, Android development, and a lot of stuffs, web stuffs also. So, yeah. Is there any other questions? Hey, Reggie Rajan. Hi. Not sure. I'm having a pretty bad internet connection. There is something wrong about my plugin. Not sure. If you have any question, feel free to ask me anything. I would be happy to answer your questions. So when I was exploring the Figma plugin API, they are really well written docs. So you see everything. You may have everything literally about the Figma. So it's pretty easy to get started, and a lot of folks have been developing a lot of good design plugins. And yeah, if I want to get knowledge about the frame, then I literally go here and click on this frame node, and I can able to see what are the properties are available there, and I can just develop the plugin according to that. So, okay, so I'm going to launch my plugin maybe tomorrow. So the first plugin which I talked about, this one, especially the this one. Let me show you a quick demo of the plugin which I'm working on. It's taking too much time. Okay. Oops. You see, we don't have any pages right now. So what I can do is I will simply press command slash and I will search for kickoff. And you see, it literally created the pages for me, cover image and all those pages. And if I go back and see, now you will be able to see the cover images automatically set. So this is the Figma plugin which I'm currently building right now. And so the second plugin which I would want to show you is, let me stop this. Let's say you have this color and you want to plugin started running, but I'm not sure why it's, maybe I need to remove this. Let me check if I can do anything here. Let me clear the console right now so that I'm going to log. I think this is space. Let's see. Title string, this is fine. Hi. Oh, okay. Streams like maybe I can just turn off my camera. Is it good now? Is it good now? Sure. So if you want to get started in creating the Figma plugins, I would just suggest you to go here, Figma plugin, GitHub, I think. Yeah, so this is the wonderful resource. You can literally get started on developing plugins for Figma. So come here, start. And yeah, this is pretty much about it. Mm, let me show you how you can just create a new plugin with Figma. So that we can just, I'm going to put my project. I'm going to open the Visual Studio again and open the terminal. npx create Figma plugin, run this command, and it will ask you for to select the template. And I'm going to select this React rectangles. And it will take some time to download those components here. Thanks, Aga. Thank you. Sure. Okay, you see, plugin installation is done. So now what I'm going to do is just open this one and select. Okay, now you need to open the terminal and just press Command Shift B, and you need to watch the plugin. Okay, now it's success. It's showing the success. That is fine. Now let's go to the source folder. You see we don't have anything pretty much here. It's a simple rectangle creator plugin. Now I'm going to open my Figma and I'm going to close this one. Search for React. It's not showing here. I'm going to import this plugin from manifest. Select the project folder and click on this manifest. Now you see React rectangles has been imported. Yeah, you see it is now visible right now. You can just add while and click create. It will create the rectangle. You see, it just created all the rectangles for me. You can literally do this for every time. If you want to change the size of the rectangle, you can do that here. I'm going to open the main code. So this is a UI folder. So I will explain the folder structure here. we have the source folder here. Inside of that, we have a file called ui.tsx and types and main. So ui.tsx is responsible for the all the components, visual components will be presented here. So we are using Preact to you reuse those components. They actually have the storybook setup here. You can literally see what are all the components available to use it in Figma. So we are using tons of components here like container, vertical space, text, and all the stuff. And yeah, so this is pretty much about it. And if you want to, let's say, just let's explore the types. You see, we have two types here. One is create rectangle handler, which is an interface, and we are passing the function name and also the number of count. And this is a close handler interface where we are passing the name of the interface as well as the handler function here. Now let's switch back to the main file. I will explain you that here. You see, if user is clicking, I think we have defined the callback here. You see, we have this create rectangle button click handler here. So we are just emitting the values to the code. So now our code will check if it is a create rectangle, then it will execute the function which is inside this curly braces. Okay. Now if it is a close handler, if it is a close, then it will close the Figma plugin. Let's say if I, instead of closing the plugin, what I would just say is Figma dot notify plugin close. Now just save the plugin and open the Figma. Now, if I just run this Preact rectangle, create 5 rectangles is working fine. Again, if I click on this close, you will see this node small doors here, plugin close. So this is the basic thing. I'm going to revert Figma dot close plugin. Also, you can literally do anything you want. So let's say you want to change the color of this, change the color of this thing. You can literally do that by here. And if I go here, you see we have created this black rectangle, and you can also resize this thing once it is done. So let's say I'm going to use GPT right now, so it will help you to write code. Okay, create a rectangle, and this is the size, and let me you see when I added the command, it automatically populated some text for me. Instead of this, we can just create some more ellipses, I think. Okay, so for that, create ellipse and add it to the group. And we need to follow the same process. Ellipse.t. And this is going to be solid, and this is going to be same black color. Yeah, we are just pretty much closing the plugin, and we need to append, I think instead of this, dot current page dot append child ellipse. I think this is fine. Let's start push ellipse. Let me check if it is working or not. For that, let's go to Figma. I'm going to run the plugin. So you see, it's pretty straightforward, right? You can literally change the color of this to any gradient you want. Okay, so this is fine. Now they have also a lot of cool things. You can literally play with it. So this is all this. I think, do you guys have any questions? I think only one person is watching. I know who is that. Uh, that's the case. Let's close this up. So I just want to give you the final announcement here. So from tomorrow onwards, I will be working on creating a lot of tutorials about Figma plugins, designs, and Android development. Also, in some time in future, I will be covering the web with Next.js and creating the full stack application. For now, this is my roadmap. Yeah, that's pretty much about it. Thank you guys. See you next time.